So Mickey, can just about breathe now. A mammoth effort by Anuj Dal at the end alongside Zach Chappell. What do you take from the 4 days?
Oh, look, I actually take quite a lot from the 4 days, to be brutally honest. But if we just start with the last day, there were two things that really pleased me about the day. Was in our huddle this morning, we spoke about being resilient, we spoke about digging deep, and the team bought into the fact that we were going to give it a crack and have a go at trying to win the game. And for me, that shows a lot of forward movement within our mindset. It shows a lot of forward movement within our attitude and the way we want to play our cricket. So those were the two things that pleased me. How we went about it wasn't scripted. We lost too many wickets in that lunch to tea session. We were a little bit reckless there, which cost us the chance to have a real crack in the last hour of the game. If we had built up our base there, it would have allowed us the opportunity to really try and get a win. So those two things really pleased me. Over the 4 days, I thought day one, we were really good. I don't think we got our just rewards with the ball. I thought that's the best we've bowled all season, without a lot of luck. And again, you make your own luck, but I really thought that day one we put in a real big effort. I thought our intensity in the field, the way we controlled the run rate, I thought all of that was really good, and that's how we set our stall out to play as a team. Day two and day three, I thought we got ourselves behind the 8 ball, didn't go big enough in the first innings. Got 4 people getting 50s, nobody getting 100, and that's always going to cost you, which meant that coming into day 4, we were probably going to be the team that played with the pressure on our shoulders instead of on the front foot. And I'd rather it was the other way around, and that's something that we need to get to quite quickly. But a lot of positives. The other thing for me is our good and our bad is still too far apart. We've got to get that a little bit closer. We've got to get more consistent with our performances every session. Because when we lose a session, we generally have a very poor session, and that puts us behind the 8 ball.
I suppose you look at today with the bat, Lewis Rees and Wayne Madsen seemed almost in complete control, and it feels a bit of a tale of the season that wickets do seem to fall in little clusters, and unfortunately that pressure does toll. But Zach and Anuj Dal did dig in and put a mammoth effort that did eventually save us a draw.
Yeah, as you said, unfortunately that was in a match-saving capacity. I'd rather it was in a match-winning capacity, and I'll go one partnership before that to Brooke Guest and Reese. Now, when you're chasing something as mammoth as 370, you only really make that decision as to what you're going to do at the tea time, at the tea interval, and even though our mindset was one of intent, which is how we want to play our cricket anyway. We went and did that. But again, we had 2 partnerships of 80 odd, without them, one of them being 150. And to chase 370, you've got to have 2 batsmen getting hundreds. It's simple as that. We weren't in a position at tea time to go, right, we've got the base now, who's going to be our next 2? So Aaron Donald, you put your pads on. Ross, you put your pads on. We might want a left-hand combination at the wicket. You are 2 bankers with the guys, and you go for it, and then we close up shop after that, and then things just become a whole lot simpler and easier. But we weren't in that position, unfortunately. We've gone through that in the dressing room, and hopefully when we chase again, we'll have learned from that.
Scale it back to day 1, win the toss, bowl. I'm not really sure what our bowlers could have done more on day 1. Kept beating the bat, and it just felt one of those days. Play and miss, play and miss, play and miss. But pleasing signs that we bowled, found the areas in the right places, and like you said before, didn't get our just reward.
Yeah, exactly right, Henry. So I think that when you set up your team for the game, we decided not to go with a spinner for this game, and I always like having a spinner, but past records in Derby haven't shown that spin has a massive influence, which is why we tried Jack last one, was to see if a guy bowling a little bit quicker into the wicket would have a little bit more success. So we set the game up when we saw the live grass on the wicket to really give it a crack with our seamers. Hence we lengthened our batting a little bit and backed our seamers to get the job done. and we bowled well enough on day one to do that. As you said, we didn't get the luck. I think there was 85 playing misses on day one. That's by the by. I thought Northants have played some very, very good cricket. I'm only talking from our point of view. We didn't get, which then put us later in the game probably under a little bit more pressure. We had to bat really well in that first innings and go a little bit of past them to then transfer the pressure, which we weren't able to do. And losing wickets in clusters is still an issue for us.
Touch on Ross Whiteley, his return to Derbyshire colours, made a good 50, marshalling the tail. You must be pleased that him coming into the side made an impact.
Yeah, I am. I really am, because Ross has worked really hard. And the one thing when we signed Ross, there might be a lot of people out there that think we signed Ross and our thinking was white ball cricket. No, our thinking is very much red ball cricket, as well as white ball cricket. It carries the equal significance in my eyes. I'd like nothing more than for us to get promoted. We signed Ross with a view of him playing a little bit of red ball cricket as well, and he was very, very keen to play red ball cricket. Worked incredibly hard on changing his technique slightly through the winter, and it was he went and he got 100 against Nottinghamshire seconds, and has come here and not looked out of place at all. So that for me was very, very pleasing.
Our next trip is down to Bristol to face Gloucestershire, but like you said, positives to take. What was your message to the guys in the change room after the conclusion of today's play?
Well, the message to the guys in the change room was exactly what I said a little bit earlier around the two positives I take out. It was around the fact that our good and bad is probably still a little bit too far apart. It was around the fact that this is how we need to structure a run chase, because I felt we were too skitsy with it today. Albeit I like the attitude of wanting to give it a crack, but we want to win games of cricket, and we want to find a formula that's going to win us games of cricket, and we want to find an identity that allows us to play the brand of cricket we want to, which will hopefully give us a positive outcome. And we just keep working. This is a project. We've got a whole new dressing room, got a whole lot of new faces in there. It's been really good fun trying to gel that dressing room, trying to learn more about the people, trying to learn more about the players that we have and what their strengths and what their weaknesses are and how they prepare and what they need in order to be successful. And we're finding that all out as we go along. But I totally believe in every one of our players in our squad, and I totally believe that we've got a very, very good squad that's going to compete and win in time to come. So I sit here still very, very confident of the stocks that we have at our disposal, and confident we're going to get the results down the line.
Mickey, thank you.